has tens of thousands of followers on Instagram. There's a website called Rees-Mogg, and one die-hard fan has even had the catchphrase Mogmentum tattooed on his chest. There's no doubt that Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg is a popular figure, but he's provoked widespread criticism by saying he doesn't back abortion under any circumstances and doesn't support same-sex marriage. Well, to discuss the views of the so-called member for the 18th century, joined by Ed Rennie, Chair of Labour Life and Catholic Coordinator at the Christians on the Left campaign group. We're also joined by Kerry Abel, Chair of the Abortion Rights Campaign Group. Hello to you both. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Ladies first, what are we making of what Mr Rees-Mogg has had to say today?
I think many people will be shocked by it. I think they'll really feel that he's out of step with most people's point of view on this. I think he's taking a really hardline absolutist position, and whether he knows it or not, 1 in 3 women will have an abortion in her lifetime, and so it's incredibly common, and lots of people will really understand this and have a personal reaction to it.
Ed Rennie, why not?
Why not what, Kay?
Well, in response to what we've just heard from our guest, hopefully you could hear her, no?
Well, yes. I mean, I think the problem with what Jacob Rees-Mogg is, his position is that he's a free market Tory, and of course at Labour Life what we want to do is create a society where women don't need an abortion. And if you're a free market Tory, then we don't think you believe in the kind of policies that create the kind of society that see women having full equal dignity, and when women have full equal dignity, they don't need to have a recourse to abortion. You look at our Shadow Foreign Secretary, Emily Thornberry, you look at Hillary Clinton, you even look at Angela Merkel, or even the Duchess of Cambridge. These are women who've reached, you know, the top echelons of society, and it's not clear that they needed an abortion to get to the top. So we want full women's equality, and that means creating a society where every woman and you know, also every man has full responsibility for his actions and the way he treats women.
Sorry, Ed, just to stop you there. Should it be illegal to have an abortion, just to clarify?
Well, it is illegal at the moment. It's currently decriminalised under the 67 Abortion Act, and that law should change, but ultimately that law changing has to be the culmination of a process in society where we have a more society based on solidarity, on the equal dignity of all human beings, the child in her mother's womb, the man and the mother herself, and all women and all men are all equal. And if we create that kind of society, then women need abortion, and then changing the law.
Yeah. Just to clarify, you're saying it should be against the law for a woman to have a choice as to whether or not she should have an abortion. Is that what you're saying?
That is the ultimate aim, but you have to create a society where women don't need abortion.
Seeking clarification on that, so we'll come back to you on it. Thank you. It is a debate. Kim, what would you say Kerry, forgive me, what would you say in response to that?
I mean, I'd be careful about banding around people's names. Emily Thornberry is a really strong supporter of abortion rights, and she's spoken at our annual general meeting, so I don't think that that's a good example. And I think it's a sort of classic way of talking about women without actually talking to women and asking what they want.
Do you want to come back on that, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've experienced, and I'm a man as chair of Labour Life. All previous chairs have been women, and I think all future chairs of Labour Life will be women. And we're having a serious conversation at conference with Christians on the left on the Monday at lunchtime. You know, having this thing as pro-choice, pro-life, pro-conversation. It's going to be an all-women panel. So Labour women MPs and other Labour women who are on the pro-choice or anti-abortion side. And that's so, I mean, I take the criticism fairly. Men shouldn't be talking about women. But on the other hand, you know, a decriminalised abortion system, a system where abortion is de facto on demand, it reinforces men's irresponsibility. It means that, you know, you were looking at dating apps earlier. You know, men can have a free market, a kind of capitalist approach to women's sexuality and women's bodies.
So can women, surely.
Yeah, but then the women are the ones who get pregnant. So men can walk away scot-free, and they don't have to have a responsibility.
It's an interesting way of looking at it. I always thought a couple got pregnant, but there you go.
Yes, both.
Kerry, as far as you're concerned, we heard that abortion is illegal. That's what we're hearing from Ed, and he makes a valid point there. You have a different view on that. I also wondered how you felt about the fact that, you know, this is what Mr Rees-Mogg believes. He is a faithful Catholic, and that is his part of his faith, so he should be entitled to his view.
I think he is confusing or deliberately misplacing his views, because he is a politician and he's an MP, and so he's talking about the law on one hand, and I feel like he's cloaking his views in Catholic doctrine on the other hand, because he is in Parliament making decisions on law, on British law for all of us, and he's got really extreme absolutist views which don't chime with what most people want. He's a representative of people in Parliament. I don't think he's listening to people. I don't think he's in line with women and what women want. I'd also say that the 1967 Abortion Act wasn't brought in just because of feminists like me who wanted it. It was brought in because of high rates of maternal mortality. Childbirth is still dangerous, and forcing a woman to have... I want to talk about the morality of forcing a woman to continue a pregnancy when she said she doesn't want to be pregnant, and even when it's a danger to her health. We saw in 2012 the case in Ireland of Savita Halapanava. She died because the nurse said, we're a Catholic country and you can't have an abortion. She died of sepsis.
Ed?
Well, that's just not true. I mean, there was an inquiry into the Savita case back in Ireland, and that was shown to categorically not be the case. But I think that's beside the point. The point is... No, she died, but she didn't die for lack of an abortion.
She died because she couldn't get an abortion. She did.
No, it's simply untrue, and anyone can look at the Irish inquiry where all the obstetricians and gynecologists of Ireland looked into that, and it's clear that she was dying, and an abortion would have increased the complications and wouldn't have saved her life at all. So that case has specifically been used by a global abortion rights campaign, and it's been misrepresented.
Okay. Well,
but that's not what we're discussing today.
We'll check that out, and we'll talk about it when we've clarified it as for our viewers' sake. But Ed, your view is on a woman being raped and falling pregnant, and we've heard what Mr. Rees-Mogg thinks. What's your view as an organisation?
Sure, I think when you've got to the stage where if society has accepted that abortion is an unjust thing that takes the life of a child, therefore, even in the tragic circumstances of rape, you can't then have an abortion. And of course, but again, this is about how do you create that society where women don't need abortion, and how do you...
We've done that, Ed, we've done that. So just to clarify, you think as an organisation that if a woman is raped and falls pregnant, you agree with Mr. Rees-Mogg that that woman should still be forced to have that baby?
Well, no, it's not a question of forced. It's a question of whether abortion is still the right thing to do. And I think even in the very tragic circumstances of a child being conceived in rape, you meet pro-life women who said, well, actually, I've had my child, and here's my daughter, here's my son. And you meet the women who've had abortions in rape, and they grieve their child. Let me ask you in a different
way, then. If a woman is raped and falls pregnant, under those circumstances, can she have an abortion as far as your organisation is concerned?
Well, of course, because that's the current law under the 67 Abortion Act.
As far as your organisation is concerned, what would they like to see happen if a woman falls pregnant and as a result of being raped?
Well, we would want to create the support network where women in that way wouldn't feel that they had to have an abortion, and that even if they carried the child to term, there would be...
What if she wanted to have one?
Well, indeed, but that's the law now. I'm talking about a situation...
But what if she wanted to have one? How would you feel as an organisation? How would you feel about a woman having an abortion if she had been raped? You would rather she didn't. As an organisation, I keep saying this, Ed, as an organisation, how would you feel about it?
We would prefer a woman in those circumstances not to go ahead with an abortion, but of course we would want to provide support for that, as it's a realistic thing that we bring solidarity into that situation.
OK, let's ask Kerry what she thinks about that. Kerry, what do you think about that?
I think it's really cruel and unusual. I think I'm not advocating anything. I'm saying women should have a choice based on her circumstances and her life and what she thinks should happen. These organisations that sort of philosophise and don't put the woman first and don't understand that it's a woman's body and it's her decision, I think is really... I don't understand it. I think it's really dangerous to say that in any circumstance somebody should make a certain decision. I think that rape is horrific, and to force somebody to go through with a pregnancy they've said they don't want is almost incomparable.
OK, it's good to talk to both of you. Sadly, we are out of time. We have other people waiting to talk to us, but thank you for taking the time to join us here on Sky News this afternoon. I bet you've got thoughts on that, haven't you? Perhaps you'd like to tweet me directly if you would like to.
You didn't, frankly, have the balls to put country before party.